So that's kind of what makes CrossFit gyms a lot different than the regular Globo gym is establishing those relationships and making you guys feel welcome. So if you guys ever feel like that's not happening, please come talk to me or Megan, and we'll make sure that that's not the case and that you guys are part of our family and feeling good. So great questions, you guys. Again, keep them coming. I'm going to keep that little jar out there for you guys to put them in, and we will answer these questions every month when we do this podcast, and hopefully give you guys some awesome tips and some good things to think about. So, yep, keep them coming, you guys. All right, guys, so when we come back after this little quick break, we'll have Greg on, and we'll be talking about that CrossFit lift-off competition. All right, talk to you guys soon. Welcome back, Coast Rangers. I'm here with Greg. Greg, how's it going, man?
Doing well. How you doing?
Good. This is our third try trying to get this damn thing to work, and finally got it going. So we're here to talk about the CrossFit Liftoff competition that we got coming up on November 6th and 7th. But before we dive into that, I want to do a quick little kind of background on Greg. Greg is our Coast Range weightlifting coach here. I don't know if you guys don't know anything about this, but we have an actual Coast Range barbell club here that operates on what days, Greg?
We go Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 7 and Saturdays from 10 to 12.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't taken advantage of that, definitely come in and take advantage of that. Greg, give us a little bit of background on yourself as far as your athletic background and when you started doing weightlifting and how you even got into it.
Well, I grew up playing baseball all my life and got burnt out right after high school. So I started doing things like wrestling and real physical things, and which ended up bringing me to CrossFit. Fell in love with CrossFit for a while, and I wanted to get stronger.
Uh-huh.
So I started looking for places where I can go do like powerlifting and strength training. And I found a gym back in Morgan Hill and found weightlifting and fell in love, and it's been tough going back.
Cool, and that gym was Charlie's gym,
yeah,
right?
Charlie's
Collective
gym,
Strength?
Collective Strength.
Very cool. And if you guys don't know, a little background on where we actually are in the Coast Range spot now, Charlie used to actually run CrossFit classes back here years ago. The area that we're in now used to be Charlie's area where he would do CrossFit with a lot of our members that we have now. Tom, Kenny, Nick, all those guys back in the day used to do CrossFit back here with Charlie. And then when Charlie left here, he actually moved up to Morgan Hill and opened up his own gym called Collective Strength. So he actually just closed that down a little while ago, and Charlie's back. So it's definitely full circle for Charlie and a lot of his members coming back to this spot here and working out here again. So we're really stoked to have them around for sure. So so you were lifting at Charlie's gym, and is that when you specifically, you said that you did CrossFit before?
Yes.
Yeah, and when did you decide that weightlifting was more the path you wanted to take?
Well, I've always been a really competitive person, and I thought at the time that was the answer to getting better at CrossFit was you had to get stronger, and I just needed to lift what these guys were lifting, in the gym.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to spend some time getting strong.
Uh-huh.
And I just got hooked on the barbell. I just loved every day of it. I loved every second of it. And it was like an outlet for me, and that's what I did,
So what went from like I need to get stronger to be a better CrossFitter turned into, hey, this is actually more my style, what I want to do with weightlifting, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're seeing that more and more with a lot of CrossFitters too, as well, is that they're finding that when you get into CrossFit, they really love it. They may be a smaller individual and they feel the exact same way. Like, hey, I need to get stronger in order to compete at CrossFit. And they start doing more weightlifting, and all of a sudden they fall in love with the barbell, like you said. And I know that Alex Carlino is one of those guys too. He's been a member of ours for a long time, and he's the exact same way. So it's always cool to see that CrossFit, regardless of where, if people end up doing CrossFit forever, it'll take them to kind of their path that they want to follow. One thing that I will say, though, is I haven't seen many people quit CrossFit to become like competitive gymnast.
Yeah, I don't know if I haven't seen that either. I really haven't. I've seen a lot of the barbell stuff, people switching over to like powerlifting and weightlifting, and it's usually smaller people. I've noticed it's usually smaller people that like want to get stronger to compete with the big guys.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it was growing up, when I got into boxing and kickboxing, I always wanted to spar the big guys. I don't know, just the competitive nature in me.
Cool.
And then CrossFit, I was always getting outlifted by all these guys that were way bigger than me, and I was like, okay, I need to get better at this stuff so I can be more competitive.
Yeah, well, I think that the path that you've taken in weightlifting has definitely been a good one. I know that there's some talk going around that Greg is the pound-for-pound strongest guy that we have in the gym. So a lot of the guys are saying around here, too, which I believe is definitely true. Is if you look at Greg's body weight compared to what he lifts, I think that you probably definitely hold that title here at Coast Range. So that's a pretty cool thing for sure.
Thank you. I'll take it.
So some other things too, you guys, I don't know if you guys know, but just this last weekend, a few of us went up and competed in our first weightlifting meet, and we had Dr. Dave Conragan and Greg with us there helping to coach us through it. And it was a fun experience for, I think, us, and I'm assuming for you guys as well. It was a little different for you guys, huh?
For me, it was hands down my favorite memory in all my weightlifting career.
Really?
I definitely take pride in myself as an athlete quite a bit, and I enjoy competing. But I find way more joy in helping others, succeed, especially like for you guys being CrossFitters and it being your first competition. There was like nerves. It was just it's so much different. It's completely different, and seeing people go from like kind of like pacing back and forth and shaking and like, oh man, I got to go out there and lift in front of like 100 people right now on this little stage, and then like getting that first lift in, and then just everybody having a great time. It was a really cool experience for me, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I think watching Dr. Dave the most, watch all the CrossFitters back there warming up, and they're doing these huge jumps and doing doubles and triples in the back and stuff. And Dr. Dave's back there freaking out going, you guys need to sit down and you guys need to relax and take one lift at a time, and small jumps and everything. And we're back there ready to do like an every minute on the minute CrossFit style warm up basically. So I know it was very different for me for sure. And it was so helpful having you and Dr. Dave there. Dr. Dave was kind of our clock guy. He was always letting me know, hey, you've got like 5 minutes or 6 minutes or 7 minutes. Right. And then you were our warm-up guy. You were there going like, hey, put on this much, and do this small of the jump, or hey, what do you want to go to this? So it was really cool to have you guys there for sure. It made us feel a lot more at home in a very not at home environment for us for sure, so definitely thank you for being there. That was a huge help for us. So
my pleasure.
Going forward from here though, we've got the American Open is coming up next, right?
Yep.
So we got Coach Brittany who qualified for that, right? And then what happened with Coach Brittany too is at the last comp she set a couple records.
Oh yeah, so there's each for USAW is like United States weightlifting. It's the nation's broken up into sections, right? And our section is like most of the West Coast, like from like the center of the United States over is called the Pacific Weightlifting Association. That's like the branch of USAW that we lift for. Okay. And you can set records in that category. We have our own numbers. They're not American records, right? But it's like basically the next best thing. Uh-huh. And she said the overall total record, which is like the one you want, because in weightlifting, it's your best snatch and your best clean and jerk put together, and that's who wins, right? So that's the one you want, which she got, and then she came back on her last attempt and got to take a good clean and jerk, and she broke the clean and jerk record as well.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So she's in the history books. Won a little bit of money, and she's pretty happy about that. Very cool.
And then she's going to the American Open as well.
Correct.
And then when is the American Open?
It's the beginning of December. It's the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, I believe. You have to show up on a Thursday for like a residence meeting or something like that, and then most of the lifting is going to happen on Friday and Saturday.
And do you know where that's going to be at?
Yeah, Reno, Nevada. It's the first time the American Open's been on the West Coast in a really long time. I'm talking like probably 10, 15 years.
Wow.
It's always East Coast, and it's been a lot of people from out here have been bickering about it, like, why do we always have to pay the expensive plane tickets and stuff? So it was a really cool opportunity that it's out here so close, basically local for us.
Yeah, wow, that worked out really well for us then this year for sure. So I've decided that I'm going to definitely compete in it too as well. So we've got myself and Brittany going. Greg's going to be there as our coach. I'm assuming Dr. Dave will be coming out to help us out as well too. Yes. I know that Junior and Alex and all the other coaches are going to be coming out to have a good time too. If anybody else wants to come out and spend some time gambling in Reno and maybe snowboarding and stuff, I know El Nino's coming, so we should have some good snow up there this winter. And then also see a weightlifting competition with your guys' coaches in it. That's another opportunity for you guys to come out and do something with us. So really excited about that. Cool to hear your background too as well, Greg. But let's move on to the important stuff. So we've got coming up on November 6th and 7th, the CrossFit headquarters is putting on the CrossFit Liftoff. This is going to be a weightlifting competition that CrossFit headquarters is doing. But the cool thing about it is that they're actually going to be holding a CrossFit workout in that as well. So it's not just going to be how strong are you, but it's also going to be how good of a CrossFitter are you. So Greg, give us a little bit of a deeper understanding of the let's say the weightlifting, the liftoff side on this, and then I'll kind of dive into the CrossFit portion of it. So the CrossFit liftoff portion, what is that going to look like?
The liftoff portion, we're gonna run it basically like a weightlifting meet, like we did last weekend. We did a mock comp the weekend before. We're gonna set up a platform in the middle of the gym, and we're all gonna be able to take 3 attempts to accumulate our best snatch, and then 3 attempts to accumulate our best clean and jerk. And we're going to take the best of those both lifts, combine them together, and that will be our total.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's basically a chance to lift some heavy weights and hopefully get an opportunity to max out, see where you're at.
Awesome. And that's going to be held Saturday morning at 9, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what would be a good time for people to start showing up? Because they do have to, there are going to be, we'll dive into it a little bit more, but there's going to be weight classes, right?
Yeah, there's going to be weight classes. So we're going to have to weigh in, and it'll be good to warm up. So it'd probably be good to show up at the very latest around 8:30.
Okay.
Just so we can handle, the cards, and as you became familiar with last weekend, so we can declare our numbers that we would like to open with. And we'll dive into that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll dive into that more in a little bit. So that's going to be Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, you guys. And then the Friday before, the Friday night, we're bringing back the Friday Night Lights. So if you guys have been with us for a while, we've done it a couple times before. Basically, if you want to compete with us and have a good time, it's a $5 buy-in. First place in all different categories. We've got a teens, a masters, and an open category. We'll split the pot, and then we'll have some other prizes too as well for the second and third place finishers. You don't have to compete if you don't want to. You don't have to have a judge, but you definitely just still come out and throw down and be in a good environment and have some fun on Friday night with us. That's going to be at 6 p.m. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're really excited to bring back that Friday Night Lights, and we're really excited to bring to Gilroy the first ever weightlifting competition that we've ever had in Gilroy. So that's going to be cool, pretty damn cool as well. So where can people go to register for this, Greg, if they want to actually compete online against the world?
Okay, so first things first, I highly recommend everyone registering. It's just a cool opportunity to see where you're at. However, if you don't want to do it, I still encourage you to come out and join us. It'll be a good time. It's going to be set up just like the Open. You're just going to go to games.crossfit.com. There'll be a liftoff section, and then from there, I believe it's only $10.
Yep.
And then you have to declare your weight class, which we'll go into in a little bit. And, so it's only $10. It's a good opportunity to see where you stand in your age category and with other people with similar body weights as you. So
yeah, that's something that's very new to CrossFit. We've never had that before. So I know one thing that's cool with CrossFit is that we always talk about in terms of you becoming a fitter human being, it's what is your work capacity across broad time and multiple domains. So how much work can you do in a short amount of time? But we also measure health in CrossFit, work capacity across broad time and multiple domains in your age range. Right. We've never had that in your age range and your weight category as well, which is something that's even more specific and really cool for people. I think that they'll really get a good idea, especially if they decide to sign up online. They'll be able to look at themselves like, hey, I'm 200 pounds and I'm 47 years old. I'm going to look at everybody who's 47-year-old and 200 pounds as well. Like, you really get to see where are you at against the world in the exact same person as you almost, right, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a really cool opportunity, you guys. Yeah, I think that alone is worth the $10, to be honest with you, to find out, where you're at health-wise right now across the entire world. So that's pretty cool. So, do they have to register online for this?
No, it's not necessary. I mean, that's just if you want to be eligible for the prizes at the CrossFit Games and Rogue. It's sponsored by Rogue, so they're giving away a bunch of prizes.
They're giving away a ton of prizes.
A ton of prizes and a ton of money.
Yeah, but just so you guys know it's not necessary. You guys do not have to register for this, and you guys can still come out and take part in this. Right. You can still do the Friday Night Lights. You don't have to buy in if you don't want to. You just won't be eligible to be in the top 3 spots. You can still come out and do the weightlifting meet on Saturday and not register, just to have a good time and to put yourself in a new situation and to hang out with your Coast Range family. So no registration is needed, but if you want to sign up for the prizes that we're going to go over in just a little bit, you do have to register online. So let's talk a little bit more about the divisions. We talked about how they're going to be in age categories and weight classes and stuff. Let's dive into that a little bit deeper. So what are the 3 categories that they actually have, the 3 divisions?
So again, it's very similar to the CrossFit Games, the way they run the Open and stuff. There's an Open division, which is all ages and just everybody, right?
You can kind of look at that as like the RX division, right?
Okay, basically cool. Like the RX division. And then we have the Masters division, which is anybody, men and women, 40 years of age or older.
Okay.
And the Teenage division, which is ages 14 to 17.
Sawyer, you hear that?
Yeah, Sawyer.
Yeah, buddy. That's going to be cool. Okay, cool. So those are the 3 divisions we have, but then within each one of those divisions, we have weight classes, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what are the weight